Hey guys, what's up? It's Dave. I'm going to start a new segment called FinX of the Week. Basically, this is just a list of popular names that I see kind of exploding and spreading like wildfire on FinX. Literally, financial X, that's what it means, right? X. So FinX can be a great tool, yet at the same time, there's a lot of just straight up crap on there. And so I just kind of wanted to go through some thoughts on what you see on here and really just tell you how you need to be prepared if you're going to be trading this type of stuff. So over here, I have the list basically of kind of what I've accumulated over time here, and then what I've seen this week. I have it organized. I'm going to put it in by percentage change, and we're going to go through it real quick. And I'm going to look at it through a pretty just sound technical analysis. This is not supposed to be a fundamental thing. So Spotify actually looks pretty solid. Actually, let's start with sound. Sound has been doing nothing but chopping sideways, right? I have been watching this. I have not touched it. However, it has had earnings, had a nice gap up. So what you will be seeing on FinX most likely is if, there's going to be a quote unquote PEG, post earnings gap. And then you're probably going to be looking at some people saying, hey, look at the flag, right? So watch it chop, and then whatever way it breaks, you can go with it. Earnings seem to be pretty good, even though this is red. I don't really know anything about the earnings, but again, it's gapped up over this base, and now it looks like it wants to start a phase two. So this would be phase one, where it's like accumulation, and then phase two would be an uptrend, kind of like that. Phase four is a distribution, and then three is distribution, then four is a downtrend. So it looks like phase one accumulation is in this area, and then phase two might be starting. BMNR. This thing was going nuts a couple weeks ago. I couldn't tell you why. I don't remember, but something happened here. And then, you get absolutely smoked. So this is one thing FinX can be decent about, is it can get you and turn your mind's eye and your attention to moves like this. But if you're not prepared and you don't know what you're doing and you buy up here, you're going to get crushed. So there are a lot of smart minds on FinX. However, they know how to manage. Ideally, you can have an educated guess, or really you're just assuming. But from the high here, within 1, 2, 3 days, you lost 64% if you were bought near these highs. Even if you bought near the close on this day, you lost 56%, right? And so you absolutely need to understand and know what you are doing. This name is now circulating again after kind of having like a rounding base. It's had a big, strong move, 25% in one day on Friday. Looking down at I didn't know what the spread is on this thing, but it moved 15% in the first 30 minutes, and then it pushed out 6% in at 12 o'clock, and then it just continues to move. So I don't trade it, but the thing is, the spread is probably pretty wild in order for it to be moving like that. So again, if you're going to do something quote unquote stupid, make sure you do it small, and also just simply make sure you know and understand what you're doing, and don't just follow these names that are doing this blindly. Because most people that are following this stuff, at least they seem like they have a good idea, but things aren't always as they seem. CoreWeave, CRWV was another one. This thing absolutely ripped. So, you could have made a lot of money. You can see that it trended the 8 EMA. However, afterwards, it's done nothing but pull back. It looks like it might want to start going again, but from these highs to these lows, if you held through that, you lost 46%. Especially if you bought up somewhere in here, you lost 41% because you were following the the main themes of FinX that come and then fade as quickly as they come. So I would just be mindful of that. Don't blindly trade this stuff. You can use simple rules of, hey, if price closes below the 21 EMA, or even the 8 or the 10 EMA, SMA, whatever, just get out. You need to understand what you're doing with these. EEVA, this is another hot stock. Look, I'm pretty sure it got hot around here, and then look where it's at. So again, FinX can be nice for momentum names, but probably not to marry. NBIS, there's a lot of people saying that this is a legit company. I believe it, which there was some sort of like company change here. It became like a new company or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but something like that. Earnings gapped up, and now, we have a post-earnings gap. Looking for the setup, looking for the flag here. A-Lab, this is another one. This, I did miss this one. This one's pretty legit, it looks like. It ran up here, but then it ran down, consolidated, created like a flat base for a few weeks, and then gapped out of it and has done nothing but run. Now we have an earnings gap, so you can look for, again, a PEG. You'll be seeing that a lot. Post-earnings gap, you look for the flag. So really, you probably want to look to see if this high of 183.62 breaks. App, another one. I tried to trade this. This thing is just super choppy. I got tagged out around here or something like that. This is not one that I trade often, but this is rounding. Had a nice push off of earnings of about 12%, and it had a nice follow through on Friday. There's a lot going on around with this name. Good and bad. There's like some financial issues over here, or distrust in financials or something like that, if I remember correctly. But this, from a TA perspective, nice rounding bottom, broke this high. I wouldn't be shocked if it came back to this 430 eventually to kind of quote unquote retest it, but it might have a little higher move. I can see this 525 being tagged. TEM, this one has been around for a while on FinX, and you can see just over the time that has not done anything. I think Nancy Pelosi bought it around here in early January, and then you had the strong push up, but then, it just sold off. So again, know what you're getting into. If it gets hot, just make sure you're watching it closely and don't hold and marry it forever. Not financial advice, but this is just how FinX kind of works, in my opinion. That's how I see it. CLS, this is going around right now currently. Looks actually pretty solid. You can see it's trending. The white and blue lines, they are quote unquote train tracking. You can say this is creating a flag here. It's kind of flagging to, some might even say, hey, look, it broke out of this flag. Or you might call this a pennant. Whatever. People draw these things differently. So that's why I'm not a super fan of technical analysis. Obviously it works, but it doesn't always work. And then if everyone can see it, that's not truly an edge. But either way, CLS actually looks decent. Hood, I trade this one frequently. This is a legit company. I don't have much to say. I cover this one regularly, so go watch my other videos if you want to know more about that. Spotify, this is a legit company as well. Been around since like 2018, has been on a monster run, especially since the lows of 2022. If we're going up here, this is a nice double bottom, broke that, confirmed it over here, broke out to all-time highs. You can look at this as a breakout and a retest, and now it's kind of pushing away from that. And so Spotify looks pretty solid. PLTR, a lot of people are saying, hey, this is a blow off top. A lot of people are piling in here, blah, blah, blah. Sure, they might be right, but I just trade the chart. I trade the market in front of me. I don't predict anything. UNH, this got smothered. There's been some issues in the company side-wise, and I need to remove the drawings here. A lot of people are trying to call the bottom. A lot of people are trying to catch a falling knife. How I see it, this thing is broken. Yeah, maybe it'll come back and I've seen, this is a no-brainer, buy it here and hold it for 10 years. If you are that type of quote-unquote investor, fine. But if you are a trader, this is not something you should be trying to catch a falling knife on. You could see a quote-unquote H pattern here. So I broke these lows, this low here, that's the rounding of the top. There's the, the line down of the H breaks it. Now it's kind of retesting it. We could see it go lower or, could fail base around. But either way, these moving averages are moving very sharply down. I would not be trying to trade that short term. Tesla, I've made some videos on this. Everybody and their grandmother, again, is seeing this pattern. So I don't think there's really any true edge to that. It's pretty obvious, right? It's obvious. So if everyone can see it, can it truly work? We'll see. It might. I mean, it is Tesla. When Tesla moves, it moves. But, you know, this is something that you will be seeing a lot on FinX as well. Tesla, I'm a long-term investor in Tesla. So I'll be trading that. Oscar was another one. Got real hot here. Oh, huge moves within like 2 weeks. It's back to where it started, right? So just be mindful. If you are going to shoot for these momentum plays that FinX is just spreading like wildfire, manage your risk. If you don't know how to manage your risk properly, just don't participate. The stock market's not here to make you rich in a day or a week or 2 weeks. Don't even think that. Save your money and spend it somewhere else, or just dump it into the overall market and just let it work over time. HIMS is another one. I don't know about this one. I used to be long, like I held it from down here, then I sold it here on this gap down. I went for the retest. I don't know. This company is having some issues, I think, with trust, and then some of the drugs that it's creating is like slowing down, like the GLP-1 inhibitors. So I'm not sure about the company here, but right now this thing is super whippy, super spready, and so it can move to the upside and it can move to the downside. So if you like volatility, this would be a good trader, I think, as long as it's doing this and not this. However, if you don't know what you're doing, stay away from it. Reddit, I am a long-term investor in Reddit. I bought it down here. I got lucky with this gap up, then I got even luckier with a nice earnings gap up. And so I'm sitting pretty on here. Reddit, I know this is a legit company. It's been around for a while. There's like communities. A lot of people use this as searching and information and learning and things like that. So I don't think Reddit's going anywhere. I can see it's going to a 230, testing it up here, and then maybe it chops around a little bit. So if we hit this, chops around, maybe flags to a short-term MA and then breaks out, maybe something like that. You know, or I'll show the other option. It can just hit this, boom, and then here we go. We go down downtrend, right? So not a prediction, just you have to provide different options because no one knows how it's going to work out. Rocket Lab, another one that is on fire in FinX world. It's been flagging. Kind of looked like it's wanted to start a rounding bottom here since middle of July. Earnings came up, gapped up, pushed higher, and then did nothing but sell off. I don't know what that means for the stock. Either way, this is a momentum mover. You can see that once it holds that 8 EMA, it likes to continue higher, but it can, move down rather quickly as well. NVIDIA, GEV, this one's pretty solid. AMD, another one. A lot of people were trying to catch the bottom in this area, and it continued to go even lower. I would say, once the 50 MA starts to flatten then curl upwards, I think that's really when it's more appropriate to start a position, because you never really know, because it was denied here, and here, and then it held around this area here. So AMD has, I guess it has a bright future. There's a lot of good things going around AMD right now. Earnings, I don't know how it was, but that's another one. Sophie is another hot one on FinX. It has moved nicely. I did buy this in here, but then I sold it in here once, March and February hit. I never got back in. Mistake on my end, but looks pretty legit. I am seeing a lot of commercials in Sophie and where I am at. And financials seem to be pretty good too. IREN, I know nothing of this company, but it got hot around here on FinX, had to blow off top. It was up here. Everyone was posting, oh, look at this, a huge breakout. Then after everybody posted it, it did nothing but reverse and then sell off to the 20, even almost came close to the 50. So, if you bought here in the breakout and you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to manage your risk, let's just say you bought halfway of the day and then you held through this, you lost 26% in like 10 trading days. So know what you're doing. Roblox has just been an absolute monster. I didn't trade that. Shop, another popular one. This is nice. It broke out into all-time highs. Nope, I lied. It's not all-time highs. However, it looks pretty solid on the daily. Broke out of this consolidation, kind of this base here. So we'll see if it chops sideways. Again, a post-earnings gap. Watch for it to break, this 156.85 high. I don't use volume, but for those that do, they will say that they want volume for quote unquote confirmation. MSTR has kind of been a laggard. It moved with a Bitcoin breakout and then has done nothing but sold off. I don't really know. I don't trade this very often. CVNA, this thing can move. You just got to manage your risk because it can indeed move. Axon, not bad. I was watching this, broke out, came back, retest, and now it's pushing higher. Looks solid. Uber's another popular one. Everybody knows Uber. It's a legit company. This isn't like some super speculative name. I bought this around here. I am a long-term holder in this. At least I plan to. I just follow my rules that I have for long-term. Consolidation here, broke out, retested, and made a higher high. This could be a higher low. So we'll see how that goes. Rocket, insurance company. This looks like it's starting to trend upwards. Not too bad. I would look for a retest of this $16-ish level. See if that holds. If this wants to continue on down, that's also pretty close to where the 21 EMA is. Just again, manage your risk. Zeta. I forget where Zeta was hot. I don't know where Zeta was hot, but either way, it was probably around here, mid-June. Had a huge pop and then did nothing. So now it gapped up. We'll see if it wants to hold out of this base here and start moving higher. However, if it breaks this, what's the low? 1855 low. I'd be watching for a gap fill or some sort of attempt at a gap fill. And then Toast. Broke out of here, retested, held it, and then earnings got back into this range here. So I don't know what is next for Toast. Typically, some would say it breaks out, it fails, opposite end range is target. So really, target would be around here, 40, so another 8% or so down. Sezzle, this was hot, got crushed, whatever the heck happened here. You can, some might call this a bear flag. Broke that bear flag. I'm not calling it a bear flag. Some would say it, but whatever. Broke that on earnings and closed at its lows. It is now near its 200. I would not be touching this right now. This is just a falling knife. So if you like bloody hands, go ahead and toss some cash at it. If you like to lose, risk your money unnecessarily, not financial advice, but that's, I would not touch this if I were you right now. Okay. Again, the point of this is just to go over FinX names that I know people are following blindly and they have no plan to get in just because they read someone that has a big account on X that says, hey, CoreWeave is crushing it. They go. I mean, good for you if you caught the sponsor move. I'm happy for you. But the point is you have to know what you're doing because as quickly as it can go up, it can also very quickly go down and you can lose 45% within, 33 trading days or so. Actually, that's even less. Than 27 trading days. So just be mindful. Be careful out there. Be prepped and continue to learn. Never give up, but also don't blindly follow people. Later.